Hi Screen Australia, we are a team of three, Kate, Leighton and I, MJL. As entertainment industry specialists, we'd like to highlight to you how current issues in software cultures impacts the film industry and in particular why this matters to you. For our discussions today, we'll be basing our argument on the issues from academic texts There Is Only Software by Manovich and the Unity Game Engines and Circuits of Cultural Software by Nicole and Keogh. To begin, the main argument that Manovich makes is that while software can seem invisible, it's always extendable and present in new media. Manovich challenges the term new media because as long as new techniques continue to be invented and added to those that already exist, it will be forever new. Manovich argues that there is no such thing as digital media and that instead only software as applied to media or content. Therefore, no matter what creative venture you are on, software will be used in some way to digitally enhance, make available, or distribute the creative content, and in ways affect the creative process. This ties to the issues that Nicole and Keogh unpack in terms of democratization, homogenization, monopolization, and a lack of creative control for creators. Using the Unity platform, which is predominantly used to create video games, as the overarching example, the authors explain how these meta platforms containing numerous software features help guide creators in a particular way. In their words, following the grain. Working with the grain in these programs guarantees fewer complications. However, it becomes apparent that most creations start to have a similar look and feel. The software guides users to follow this skeleton, which shapes the fundamental building of each video game. There's an ease and familiarity of this software design, and it pushes or orients users, experienced or amateur, towards certain production workflows, methodologies, and creative processes, which in turn has a homogenizing effect on the way people actually create content. The authors argue that this effect is placing constraints on how creators can express themselves creatively, and this is the main issue they're trying to point out. In the film industry, it is imperative to be different, be creative, and push boundaries. Therefore, using meta platforms, creating seemingly homogenized content could pose issues for Screen Australia.
Within the screen industries, the uniqueness of content remains a cornerstone of creating and revolutionizing future demand for different types of on-screen art. Unfortunately, with the continued homogenization of meta platforms, as discussed by Nicole and Keogh, Screen Australia may be at risk of issues created as a result. As a government agency charged with developing, producing, and promoting uniquely Australian screen content, it is imperative that Screen Australia maintain the distinctive nature of Australian content going forward. With the homogenization of the very tools creatives use to ideate and create their concepts, it is expected that what makes Australian content Australian will undoubtedly be impacted by the limitations of software platforms in the production process. While the concept of industry standard platforms may be economically and logistically sound in theory, as we've stated, the standardization of workflows within these systems leads to creators constrained by the medium in which they create. While this may be the central issue, the knock-on effects in the homogenization of content could presumably lead to an audience base so ingrained in the content that they're used to that purposely alternate content is shunned by the majority of consumers. This has the potential to severely impact Screen Australia, both in the quality of content it produces and also in the likelihood that Australian content will continue to be sought out by audiences. Currently, there exists proposed federal legislation that would require online streaming services operating in Australia to invest in a set amount of locally produced content, similar to that of the requirements for commercial broadcasters. Should this be made law, this may be one of the largest opportunities for Screen Australia to mass promote local content in decades. While the requirements would undoubtedly stimulate the screen industries, it would also act as a major opportunity for Screen Australia to ensure that meta platforms lessen their hold over the creativity of creators and also to drive home the diverse and distinctive character of what our content can deliver to these untapped audiences. Without providing the opportunity to change the software cultures that exist within the production processes, Screen Australia may lose its competitive advantage in the local screen development space to other private production houses more willing to experiment in their methodology. Artists and creatives that wish to push the boundaries of the systems in which they create will find a way to do so, and it is up to Screen Australia to provide these affordances, if not for the creative freedom that they will enable, then for the future successes of the agency.
The world of technology, entertainment, and media are constantly evolving industries, yet unbeknownst to most of its users, the software that offers us the properties and affordances to produce and format most medias make up an industry that is ever evolving. As mentioned by my predecessors, the software industry surrounding entertainment, media, and the arts have shown to have a homogenizing effect on the production of this media, ultimately hindering the creative control across a myriad of entertainment and media forms. Harking back to the reading from Benjamin Nicol and Brendan Keogh, as they touched on the game engine Unity as an example, it was mentioned that users flocked to the platform for its simple yet barren affordances that the platform offered. Although it provided creators the opportunity to create, edit, and iterate, it also granted the convenience of premeditating common workflows. Ultimately, users found the software skill set lacking, leading to creators building upon the software structures themselves, and straying away from the premeditated path that Unity's game engine often promoted. This resulted in creators producing unique final products that were unidentifiable from the usual end products that came out of the Unity game engine. Mentioned in Lev Manovich's reading, large conglomerates like Google and Facebook update their software systems multiple times a day with software sourced from smaller developers to ensure that their well-oiled machine keeps running. After digesting both readings, firstly reflecting on Nicol and Keogh's comments on the barren software affordances that were within the Unity game engine, nudging creators to go further in their creative processes and ultimately fostering an innovative platform, and secondly, Manovich's discussions on the meditative innovation that large conglomerates adopt in the bid to stay on top, we aim to resolve the issue that currently faces Screen Australia by applying the relative information provided in both of these readings. So to avoid the homogenization of software culture in the modes of media production, we suggest that Screen Australia looks to localize software developers, regularly attributing effective and unique software additions to the platform to cultivate an environment specific to Screen Australia and its relative creators. We believe by doing this, the media under Screen Australia's unique and innovative software fittings, this will broaden the market and look to support Australia's software, entertainment and media industries. Screen Australia already spans across a myriad of industries, including film, television and video gaming, in effort to support independent Australian creators looking to find a platform for their media. By further supporting the software industry, Screen Australia is investing in the future of independent creators by supporting the means of production.